Leo Winchester, the son of one of the richest men in Rhode Island, walks into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom as if he's entering his bedroom, with a lazy, careless attitude. His baseball cap is pulled down to his eyes, headphones dangle from his ears, and in his hand he's glued to his phone, never looking up for a second. The reason this wealthy young man is here is his third reckless driving charge in 6 months. This time, he was caught driving 70 miles per hour in a school zone while live streaming to his social media followers. On his way here, what he had in mind was simple: sit for maybe 10 minutes, listen to an old judge's lecture about responsibility, and then let his father's checkbook turn this whole unpleasant situation into a bit of paperwork. However, when Judge Caprio began reviewing Leo's shocking sense of entitlement, he learned that Leo had laughed at previous judges, treated court hearings like social media content, and shown no remorse for endangering children. And as always, this spoiled rich kid once again did something that would determine his fate. While his sentence was being read, he kept playing with his phone, completely ignoring the judge as if he were just background noise in a cafe. Of course, this did not go unnoticed by anyone in the room, especially not by Judge Caprio. What happened next would become one of the harshest reality checks in courtroom history, and this self-entitled young man would receive punishments that not even his father's money could buy his way out of. This was the moment when privilege finally ran into real justice. If you've watched this far, don't miss the end of the video. Like the video, sit back, and enjoy the story, because what you're about to witness is the trial of spoiled privilege standing before unshakable justice. Enjoy listening. Thursday afternoon, 2:15 p.m., Providence Municipal Court. The bailiff calls out, "The state of Rhode Island versus Leonardo James Winchester." A young man shuffles into Judge Caprio's courtroom wearing a hoodie that costs more than most people's rent, designer sneakers that could fund a family vacation, and the posture of someone who's never faced a real consequence in his entire pampered life. He doesn't walk to the defendant's table. He ambles like he's heading to grab lunch between classes. Judge Caprio looks up from his bench with his characteristic patience and respect for all defendants, regardless of age or attitude. "Good morning, Mr. Winchester." Leo doesn't look up from his phone screen. "Yeah, whatever." Not "good morning," not "your honor," just the dismissive grunt you'd give someone interrupting your gaming session. Judge Caprio notices the blatant disrespect immediately, but maintains his professional composure. "Mr. Winchester, you're charged with reckless driving in a school zone, traveling 73 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. This is your third similar offense in 6 months. How do you respond to these charges?" Leo continues scrolling through his phone, occasionally tapping to like posts or respond to messages. "Look, whatever the fine is, just tell me so we can get this over with. My dad's accountant will transfer the money, and we can all move on with our lives." "Mr. Winchester, please put your phone away and give these proceedings your attention." Leo glances up for exactly 2 seconds before returning to his screen. "Dude, I'm dealing with important stuff here. Just tell me what I owe and let me bounce." Judge Caprio's expression tightens slightly. "Mr. Winchester, this is a court of law, not a drive-through restaurant. You're facing serious charges that could result in jail time." Leo actually laughs while typing a message. "Jail time? Right. My dad donates more to this city than most people pay in taxes. We both know how this works. You give me some lecture about responsibility. I nod and look sorry. Dad writes a check, and everyone pretends justice was served." The courtroom falls silent. Even the court reporter stops typing, shocked by this display of casual contempt. Judge Caprio reviews Leo's file more thoroughly. "Mr. Winchester, I see that in your previous court appearances, you received suspended sentences and reduced fines. Yet here you are again, having learned absolutely nothing from those experiences." "Learned what?" Leo continues texting without looking up. "That money solves problems? Yeah, I learned that when I was like 5 years old. This whole thing is just expensive theater." Judge Caprio's legendary patience is being tested. "Mr. Winchester, you were driving recklessly through a school zone where children walk to and from classes. You could have killed someone." "But I didn't," Leo responds with a shrug, still focused on his phone. "Nobody got hurt, No property got damaged, so basically nothing happened. You're making this way more dramatic than it needs to be. Nothing happened? You endangered innocent children. Leo finally looks up for a moment, his expression one of complete boredom. Look, Judge, whatever your name is, I've been driving since I was 14. I know what I'm doing. I had complete control of my car and the street was basically empty anyway. Kids weren't even around. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a school day. So, I didn't see any kids. Leo returns to his phone. Besides, my car has like every safety feature ever invented. Even if something did happen, which it wouldn't, everyone would be fine. Judge Caprio takes a deep breath, clearly working to maintain his composure. Mr. Winchester, your attitude suggests you believe traffic laws don't apply to you. Traffic laws apply to everyone, Leo says while watching a video on his phone. But enforcement should be reasonable. I'm not some dangerous criminal. I'm a college student with perfect grades driving a car that costs more than most people's houses. Context matters, right? So you think your wealth should influence how laws are enforced? Leo pauses his video long enough to give Judge Caprio a look that screams, "Are you serious?" Obviously, that's literally how the world works. Rich people get better lawyers, better treatment, better everything. It's not fair, but it's reality. Everyone knows the system works differently for people who can afford it. Judge Caprio's voice becomes firmer. Mr. Winchester, in this courtroom, your family's wealth means nothing. What matters is your behavior and your attitude toward the law. Leo actually rolls his eyes while returning to his phone. Sure, whatever. Can we speed this up? I've got plans tonight. At this point, Judge Caprio does something unusual. He stands up slowly and everyone in the courtroom pays attention, except for Leo, who is still focused on his phone. The room grows so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Mr. Winchester, Judge Caprio's voice cuts through the silence like steel. Look at me. Leo continues scrolling through social media. Almost done with this text, one sec. Mr. Winchester, I am addressing you directly. Put that phone down and show this court the basic respect that every defendant owes these proceedings. Leo lets out an exaggerated sigh, but keeps his eyes on his screen. Can't this wait like 2 minutes? My friend is having a total crisis and needs advice. Judge Caprio's voice becomes deadly quiet. Mr. Winchester, your friend's crisis can wait. You are currently facing criminal charges that could result in jail time, and you're treating this courtroom like your personal living room. Jail time for driving fast? Come on. Leo finally glances up with a smirk. We both know that's not happening. Rich kids don't go to jail for traffic stuff. The courtroom gasps audibly. Judge Caprio's expression hardens in a way that veteran court watchers recognize as a very dangerous sign. Mr. Winchester, put your phone away immediately, or I will have the bailiff confiscate it and hold you in contempt. Leo looks genuinely surprised that anyone would dare threaten his precious device. You can't take my phone. That's like a violation of my rights or something. Your right to use personal electronics ends when you enter my courtroom and show flagrant disrespect to these proceedings. Leo reluctantly slides his phone into his pocket, but his body language screams that he considers this a ridiculous imposition. Fine, whatever, but this better be quick. Judge Caprio remains standing, his presence now commanding every bit of attention in the room. Mr. Winchester, given your complete lack of remorse, your demonstrated pattern of reckless behavior, and your contemptuous attitude toward this court, I'm prepared to impose penalties that might actually penetrate your sense of entitlement. Leo's hand immediately moves toward his pocket, where his phone is. Cool, just send the bill to my dad's office. His assistant handles all this stuff. For reckless driving in a school zone, I'm fining you $5,000. Leo starts to pull out his phone again. Whatever. To be paid by you personally, not by your father. Leo's hand freezes halfway to his pocket. What? Why can't my dad pay it? Because you're an adult who committed the crime, and you need to face the consequences yourself. Leo's confidence wavers slightly. I mean, I'll just get the money from him and pay it myself. Same difference, right? Judge Caprio's next words make the entire courtroom hold its breath. I'm also suspending your driving privileges for 1 full year. Now Leo pulls his hand away from his phone entirely, giving Judge Caprio his full attention for the first time. A year? That's completely unreasonable. I need my car for school, for work, for everything. You should have considered that before endangering children's lives for the third time in 6 months. How am I supposed to get around? Uber everywhere? Do you know how expensive that gets? Judge Caprio responds in a cold, steady voice. Public transportation exists, Mr. Winchester. Buses and trains are the same systems that millions of people use every day. Leo's face contorts with genuine disgust. Public transportation? You want me to ride the bus with regular people? Regular people, Mr. Winchester, are the citizens whose children you endangered with your reckless driving. This is insane, Leo mutters, his carefully constructed facade of casual indifference finally cracking. My dad is going to appeal this ridiculous sentence. His lawyers will have this overturned before I even leave the building. But Judge Caprio isn't finished. His voice becomes even more serious, if that's possible. And most importantly, since you seem to have such profound contempt for ordinary citizens and the public services they rely on, you're going to become intimately familiar with both. Leo's arrogant smirk starts to fade completely. What do you mean? You're sentenced to 150 hours of community service, specifically cleaning and maintaining the city buses you'll be riding for the next year. The courtroom erupts in murmurs of shock and approval. Leo's mouth drops open so wide you could drive a truck through it. Cleaning buses? You want me to clean buses? His voice cracks with disbelief. Every Saturday morning for the next year, you'll report to the Municipal Transportation Department at 6 a.m. and spend 8 hours scrubbing the same buses used by the regular people you hold in such contempt. 6 a.m. on Saturdays? Leo's voice rises to almost a squeak. That's when normal people sleep in. And manual labor? I can't do manual labor. People will see me. Judge Caprio's voice becomes deadly serious. Mr. Winchester, being seen performing honest work might be exactly what you need to develop some character and empathy. Leo jumps to his feet so abruptly his chair nearly falls over, his phone actually clattering to the floor. You can't make me do manual labor. This is America. My dad will sue this entire court system. Your father can file all the appeals he wants, Mr. Winchester. This sentence stands until you complete every single hour of service and demonstrate that you've learned to treat other people with basic human respect. This is discrimination against wealthy people. You're punishing me for being successful. Judge Caprio's response cuts through Leo's tantrum like a blade through silk. Mr. Winchester, I'm punishing you for being reckless, entitled, and contemptuous of human life. Your family's wealth has nothing to do with your moral character defects. Leo's face turns bright red with a mixture of rage and embarrassment. I'm not cleaning any disgusting buses. I'm not riding public transportation with a bunch of weirdos and poor people. My dad will fix this. Mr. Winchester, until you complete this sentence in full, your driving privileges remain suspended indefinitely. Miss a single Saturday of community service, and your suspension extends to 2 full years. Leo stares at Judge Caprio in absolute shock, finally beginning to understand that Daddy's money can't make this nightmare disappear. This isn't fair. Other kids get warnings and small fines when they get caught speeding. Other kids show remorse, Mr. Winchester. Other kids don't treat court proceedings like a social media break while displaying contempt for everyone around them, including the judge. But I'm sorry now. I'm really, really sorry. Leo's voice becomes desperate and whiny. I promise I'll never speed again. Please, Your Honor, I'll pay any fine, any amount you want. Just don't make me clean buses in front of people. Judge Caprio leans forward slightly, his expression unyielding. Mr. Winchester, 30 minutes ago, you told me that money solves every problem and that wealthy people deserve different treatment under the law. You've demonstrated nothing but contempt for this court, for public safety, and for the ordinary people whose lives you've endangered. Words are meaningless when they come after consequences are announced. Leo's desperation reaches new heights. I was just being stupid. I didn't mean any of that stuff. I respect ordinary people. I love public transportation. I think buses are great. Mr. Winchester, your sudden conversion to respecting public services is noted but unconvincing. Leo tries a different approach, his voice becoming calculating. Your Honor, what if my family made a huge donation to the city, like enough to buy new buses for everyone? Would that show how sorry I am? Judge Caprio speaks with complete certainty. Mr. Winchester, you've lived your whole life thinking money can fix anything and get you out of trouble. Now you'll learn that respect, responsibility, and character can't be bought. You will serve every hour of your sentence, pay your fine with money you earn, and ride public transportation for a year. Maybe by then, you'll be ready to contribute to society instead of being a burden to those around you. Leo Winchester, who walked into court believing his last name made him untouchable, leaves facing a year of 6 a.m. Saturdays scrubbing bus floors alongside the maintenance workers he spent his life looking down on. The bailiff has to practically drag him from the courtroom as he continues protesting, "This is slavery. This is cruel and unusual punishment. My dad's going to have your job for this." Within hours, video of his meltdown goes viral on every social media platform, and Leo becomes the poster child for entitled Youth Meeting Real-World Consequences. His wealthy prep school classmates mock him mercilessly as Sorry busboy Leo trends worldwide, with memes of him in janitor coveralls flooding the internet. His father's attempts to appeal the sentence fail spectacularly when higher courts review the video evidence of Leo's courtroom behavior and conclude that Judge Caprio showed remarkable restraint. Sometimes the best lessons come from experiences that money can't buy, like learning humility while cleaning a bus.